Street raised, I was brought up with a G state. Peep game, those who didn't catch one to your brain. Stay in your lane, never wolfed it, boy, I never fake. Watch them break, watch them fall, still I remain. Never change, never try to come and rearrange. Never hate, never tripping on somebody's plate. That shit is lame, leave that type of shit for the dames. The streets don't play, yo, catch up, watch your life escapes. One game, homie, that you shouldn't play. There's real soldiers in the streets gunning every day. This shit is normal in the vital part of every day. It ain't great, but I'm loyal, so I'll never change. I keep repeating, but I mean it, never lose your way. Heed the warning and the missing just for talking brave. Fuck my enemies, two faces and all the snakes. Not for this matter, just name the time and name the place. We'll get it active, fuck the gap, and I'm in face to face. Real gangsters never fold, and we never shake. I was brought up to...
You are now watching M.O.D. Entertainment.
What's good, G-Life? This right here is beautiful Cali, California. You already know. Home of beautiful weather, palm trees, sandy beaches, Hollywood high life, Walk of Fame, all that good stuff. But also home to gangbanging capital, bro. You know, home to dozens and dozens, hundreds of gangs, thousands of gang members. Should be chaotic, bro. In California, homie. It ain't no joke. Now, in the last series, we covered all street, local neighborhood. And for this one, we shall be covering all avenue neighborhoods. Because there is several avenue neighborhoods, you know what I mean? They have avenue in the title. So with no further ado, let's get into it. All right, and we'll be starting off with the more recognizable one of the Avenues gang. The one that everybody knows of. You hear about them because they're notorious. They have been already around for a long, long time. They had a few documentaries based on them, like on Gangland and etc. We have the Vario Avenues gang. You know, Avenues. Avenues. Avenues is a barrio that's located in Nellis, northeast Los Angeles. And obviously they get their name, Avenues, because of all the avenues that are in that area. Almost everything's an avenue. You have Avenue 30th, Avenue 31st, Avenue 32nd, Avenue 33rd, and etc. You know, 35th, 36th, 38, and all the way to the 60s. So they're all avenues. So that's where they get their name Avenues from, you know, meaning all the avenues, meaning as in more than one. Because their territory is extensive, you know what I mean? Their territory stretches everything that's from Chapman Avenue. Chapman, obviously, you know, is one of the main hangout spots of theirs as well. Chapman all the way to San Fernando Road. San Fernando Road, their territory still extends all the way to Division Street. Division Street all the way to Rome Drive. Rome Drive all the way to Avenue 33rd. And Avenue 33rd, the territory still extends all the way to Chrismore Place. From that, it still goes all the way to Avenue 36 and back around. So everything that's in the middle is considered their barrio, which is a gigantic amount of territory, bro. Throughout, like I said, throughout all the 30s, throughout Eagle Rock Boulevard, throughout, you know, San Fernando Road, obviously Drew Street being the heart of their hood, their domain, their dojo, Chapman as well, because they have several clicas to their barrio. You know what I mean? Like I said, because the Avenues gang is a large, you know, neighborhood, you know, almost in the thousands, you know, because they're just not located here, but in several other spots, you know, also like in Mexico. So the Avenues clique, you know, do have branches, you know, that are, you know, around. Like I said, this neighborhood has been around since the 1940s, bro. So we're already talking about a long time right here that they've been established, you know what I mean? In Nellis, you know, one of the more recognizable barrios, you know what I mean? Throughout, you know, this park, Highland Park, Cypress Park, Glassell Park, you know, throughout this, you know, area, you know, and then they have their clicas, you know, like the Assassinos, Drew Street, 43rd Avenue, 50th Avenue, 60th Avenue, Cyclones, Night Owls, all kinds of clicas, bro, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's just a large neighborhood. 43rd is probably, you know, one of the more recognizable ones, along with Drew Street, that you see up, that people, you know, more than not often, you know, notice those cliques. But like I said, the Avenues is very notorious. They've been hit with everything in the kitchen sink, hit with sweeps, all kinds of shit. Like I said, they made headlines. These guys are brutal and notorious, and they hold it down, and they continue to still represent theirs and holding it down for the Avenues gang. And to find the next neighborhood on the list, we actually have to be maneuvering our way to The west side of Los Angeles, yes, the west side of Los Angeles is home to one of these avenue neighborhoods. In West LA is where we're able to find the Vario OFA. OFA translating to Oxford Avenue. Barrio Oxford Avenue is a real neighborhood that has been well established here. Well, the neighborhood has been around since the 80s because it was a tag banging crew. Well, it was a tagging crew before. It used to stand for, out for action and a bunch of other stuff. You know what I mean? You know how taggers make their clicks stand for, all kinds of sayings. So, they were a tagging crew that was around right here in, like I said, in the 80s. But then, as time going by, and other neighborhoods, trying to run up and press on them, and then not letting themselves and standing their ground, the tag banging, it manifests into the neighborhood that we have, today, which is the Oxford Avenue, obviously named after Oxford Avenue because that is, their barrio, where they hang out, their domain, their dojo, where they get it on and cracking, and this is a neighborhood, at least from what I was told, is roughly about 65 members to them. They have a few clicas for their barrio as well, vagos, tokers, a few clicas, to their neighborhood. And like I said, they are a real barrio, you know what I mean? Individuals, I know they like to, they were just a crew or whatever. Nah, 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 nah. Like I said, you could hate it or love it, bro. It doesn't change the facts. Facts are facts. You know what I mean? The Oxford Avenue is a real neighborhood that is holding it down right here, still representing and putting theirs on the map for the west side. Now, to find the next barrio on the list, we actually have to be maneuvering our way to the area of the southeast. Southeast, yes, southeast is home to one of these avenue neighborhoods, which, to be more exact, we actually have to be maneuvering our way to the city of Downey. Downey, yes, Downey, bro. Like I said, Downey's got neighborhoods. Don't ever get it twisted. And this is home to one of these avenue neighborhoods, which is known as the Vario BA or BALS, which stands for Brock Avenue Locos. Brock Avenue Locos is a neighborhood that has been well established right here in the area of Downey since the late 80s, early 90s when this neighborhood was established. Now, like I said, these neighborhoods, since, they're more on this side, they never got so large like as in some of these other areas where they're roughly in the hundreds, because this neighborhood was roughly about 55, 45 to 55 members to them. So they weren't a large neighborhood, but nonetheless, homie, a real Vario that was holding it down right there in Downey and continued to still hold it down, you know what I mean? And their territory was everything that was from Paramount Boulevard. Their territory still extended all the way to Gardenell Street, I think that's how you say it. And from that all the way to Downey Avenue, and from Downey Avenue, their territory still extends all the way to Imperial Highway. So everything that's in the middle is considered their barrio. You know what I mean? But in the heart of their hood, their main domain is obviously on Brock Avenue. Brock Avenue is obviously the heart of their hood. Their main domain, their dojo, where they get it on and cracking. And like I said, this is a real barrio. Yes, Downey's original, original barrio out of Downey. You know what I mean? There's very few barrios that are original out of Downey, you know what I mean? Like them and the Margaret Streets and stuff like that. But this one was obviously the more larger one out of the two. You know what I mean? And yes, you do have it chaotic around the area because you got Dog Patch, you have Crazy Ass Lunatics, you have several other barrios in the area, you know what I mean? So it does get on and cracking. But the BALS neighborhood has continued to still represent theirs and hold it down for their barrio. And yes, they still continue to be an active neighborhood and putting theirs on the map and holding it down for that. Brock Avenue right there. Now, as we maneuver our way to the area that is known as the SD San Diego, that's right. You already know SD definitely is up in the building. And yes, this is home to several of these avenue neighborhoods, actually, to be exact. Now, for the first one, we actually be having to make our way to the area that is known as Palm City. Yes, Palm City is home to one of these neighborhoods, obviously repping Palm City, but they're their own individual cliques, sub-gangs, but they all represent Palm City, you know what I mean? Because, you do have several, from Palm City, Locos, Palm City from Hell, and you have Palm Avenue. Palm Avenue, like I said, is right here in Palm City, Palm Avenue, already a neighborhood that's been well established right here since the 90s. Roughly, one of the more smaller cities. They did have die off for a few, but like I said, nothing truly ever dies out, for good, because this neighborhood still has individuals that represent for theirs. You know what I mean? And although you have different, like Palm Locos, and Palm from Hell, and all of that. They all claim Palm City, and this is a well-known, plica of theirs, that's well recognized, out of their barrio. So although individuals may want to say what they want, only they really put it down. It's Palm Avenue Locos, PALS, or just sometimes you just see a PA. But yes, they're another Palm, they're another Avenue neighborhood that puts it down and putting theirs on the map for the SD and holding it down for theirs, and continue to put theirs on the map. Another barrio that we have right here in the area of SD, we have the Vario Avenue. Yes, Iris Avenue is a real neighborhood. The Iris Avenue Insane Family is the name of the barrio. This barrio has been well established right here in this area since the 80s, when this neighborhood was established. Roughly a more smaller neighborhood, you know what I mean? Often than not, people leave it out or really don't hear about this neighborhood, but don't get it twisted. It is a real barrio, you know what I mean? That's been putting it down for SD just as much as any of these other neighborhoods that have been holding it down for theirs, you know what I mean? And you can find their neighborhood, obviously, on Iris Avenue and 27th as well. And Bayer, I think Bayer's how you pronounce that street. But all through that area is what's considered their barrio. And at least from what I was told, is that this barrio, was roughly, at one point was a large neighborhood, because I was told that there were roughly about 80 to 90 members to them. So they were a large neighborhood at one point, you know what I mean? Now, due to, gentrification and stuff like that, you don't see them up, as deep as they once were. But don't get it twisted, homie. They are still, functioning neighborhood that hold it down right there for the Iris Avenue Insane Family. Like I said, a real neighborhood. I have heard people try to say, they're a taggy crew, or it doesn't exist, or it died out. Like, nah. Like I said, you may not like it, hate it or love it, bro. Facts are facts. This is a real neighborhood, that hold it down right here. And I often do also see that people think that, Iris Avenue and Insane Family is two different neighborhoods. But no, they're the same. It's Iris Avenue Insane Family is how you pronounce this neighborhood. Like I said, and sometimes you just see like it's written avenues. Like most of these gangs write it like that as well. You know what I mean? They're proud to represent their avenue. But that's what's up with the Iris Avenue right there, representing for theirs. Now, to find the next avenue on the list, we actually have to be making our way to the 805. 805. To be more exact, we have to be heading towards the area that is known as Ventura. Ventura, yes, Ventura is home to one of these avenue neighborhoods. This one being different, a green ragging Sureño neighborhood, because they are green raggers, but they're homeboys out of Ventura, 805. Ventura Avenue Gangsters. Ventura Avenue Gangsters, like I said, have been well established in this area, running amok throughout all of Ventura, but mostly through the west side. The west side is, their domain, their dojo, where they get it on and cracking, and have been right there representing since the 40s, homie. This is an old barrio already, homie. And from what I was told, that this neighborhood is roughly more than 100 members to them. It's one of the 805's more larger neighborhoods, and well respected. And these guys have been hit with everything also, they've been hit with sweeps, they made headlines. Man, this neighborhood, like I said, is one of the 805's more larger neighborhoods, So you definitely hear about these guys. They're a powerhouse, and that, and the fact that they've been around for so long, since the 40s. I mean, that's already, old, when we're talking about this area, it's one of the oldest barrios, in the 805, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, with a large amount of territory, all of Ventura, you know what I mean? They're the only ones you could find in Ventura, but mostly on the west side. So like I said, they have heads, and they hold it down for theirs, man. These guys ain't no chumps, And yeah, often than not, you see it written V Avenues 13, and people think that it's Vario Avenues. No, but the V stands for Ventura Avenue, you know what I mean? That's what that V stands for, so it's not for Vario, So sometimes when it's, written or tattooed on them, people get it confused with the Avenues gang, because it almost looks like that's how it's written, but It's not. They're two separate neighborhoods, have no connection to each other. You know what I mean? Just similar names. A lot of these neighborhoods just claim Avenue. You know what I mean? But that's just how it is. That's how it goes. So I know often people get them confused, but that's just how it's written, and that's what's up with the Ventura Avenue Gangsters right here, representing for theirs.